Hello again, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV. Last time we beat Lord of the Inferno Ifrit, and it teleported us from the Twel's Wood back to where the story was taking place. As you can see, we've got a bunch of dead bodies from people who were, I guess, killed after the Amalja raid or something. Let's talk to Thancred, see what that's all about. Look, look, they're using ignominy again, except it's ignominious defeat. Shameful defeat, huh? You could just said shameful. Would have been a lot less syllables. You pretentious cuck. No ordinary individual, he says. But there was 3 other guys with me. Alright, going back to the Waking Sands, huh? And we can't talk to any of these guys, and this flame captain right here, he just says some bullshit like, we're the immortal flames, and... also, you might notice I'm almost level 30. I did the daily dungeon roulettes and got Temptar Deepcroft. And I also did the Guildhest roulette and got the turtle one. So, just sitting right there, almost level 30. When we get level 30, we'll go on back to the Lancers Guild. Which will ding level 30 off the next quest to turn in, so... Hey, we're probably going to be going back to the Lancers Guild pretty quickly here. But while we're on the way, since we're traveling, we might as well sandwich together stuff. That's what you always want to keep in mind when you're DPS. People often complain that DPS has the longest queues and they can't get into the dungeon that they want to. But all this really does is it lets you sandwich in content, right? Like, if you're going to have a 30-minute queue, you can work on crafting. Or, you know, if you're going to have like a 15-minute queue, you can work on gathering. Or you're going to have, you know, a 2-hour queue because it's some content that no one wants to do anymore. You can work on something else, right? And the thing about playing a tank or a healer is, yeah, you're going to queue into the dungeons faster, but you can't really sandwich content in. You have nothing to do while you wait. Now, if you don't want to wait, right? Like if all you want to do is do the battle as quickly as possible, get through the story as quickly as possible, you know, get into the dungeons, get out of the dungeons as quickly as possible, then yeah, play healer or tank if the responsibilities inherent in those jobs suit you. But, I mean, for the most part, there's really nothing wrong with playing DPS. It's in fact one of the optimal ways to play, just because of the fact that you can sandwich everything into your queue waiting time, right? Like, got a bunch of side quests you want to get done? Queue up for your daily roulette, and the 10 or so minutes it takes you to get in, if it even takes that long, do like 3 or 4 side quests. It's like really, you know. One thing I like to do, every time I come back to the Waking Sands, I like to check on the NPC situation, because it changes some, you know. Unfortunately, this was before they had the idea to change dialogue for every major NPC, so the dialogue in here hasn't changed at all, and it looks like none of the NPCs have either. And that's okay. It'll change soon enough. Well, I guess at least it makes sense that the Scions would get news faster than I travel, since we all have link pearls and can just be like, wong wong, and be like, hey, Clyde killed Ifrit. Oh. Darren Cred, stop beating yourself up. I feel like her top should be the same color as her dress and leggings. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm obsessed with dyes. It is actually driving me insane that I can't dye my brand new gloves rust red to have them sort of look like the Doctor harness. Yeah, we know why we did it why they did it already. See, when I first started playing the game, the it wasn't the story. Like, I don't think the story for Realm Reborn is bad at all. I think the story is fine. What's really clunky to me is the dialogue they wrote for it. They have the NPCs tell you the same shit you already knew 5 times in a row before they say anything new. And this isn't even on the same quest. Like, it's not like I'm talking to Y'shtola over and over again out there in the hall, hoping she'll say something different. They're just like restating the obvious over and over and over. And that drove me insane the first time I played, so much so that basically every time I talked to main characters, I would skim read, and if I didn't see anything new, then I just X'd through the dialogue boxes. Of course, right now they are telling us something new, and they're telling us basically how primals function. Needs more crystals, needs more souls. Oh, maybe we'll get through this in 45 seconds, maybe we won't. So yeah, they gain more power from having more ether, but also from having more believers. Tempering mortals. Didn't work on me, though. Thanks to the echo. I'm totally gonna miss this queue, but that's okay. You can miss 3 queues before you're penalized for queuing. So that's another thing. Yeah, but it'll be okay. We'll just queue again and hopefully not miss out on the queue. She says that, but I don't think anything really changes. Like, how they gonna be coming after me and like fangirling over me if they never know where I am? All are to be put to death, the flames with whom you were imprisoned included. Needless to say, this information must not be made known to the public. I swear to you that we would not do this if there were any other recourse, but once a man is tempered, he is tempered for life. His very existence lends strength to the primal whom he cannot choose but worship. And so we Scions continue to our fight, that no more innocents need be sacrificed. I hope that you will continue to stand with us, Clyde. Isn't that interesting though? Isn't like once they're tempered, it's not even just that the fact that they've been brainwashed and they believe in the false god or whatever. It's just he said that their very existence like makes the primal stronger. Oh snap! We hit level 30. Hey, but wait, what gives? We didn't get... I guess they call it Lance Charge now? Okay, so I guess that... They've got that locked. That's another reason to go back to the Lancers Guild. They've got that locked behind... the guild quests. And it makes sense. It's going to be really useful, and we're going to be using it often. Here she is, restating my heroic deeds. We have guests, Clyde. Or rather, you have guests. Beg pardons! Ah, Lady Minfilia, radiant as always. I am given to understand that the Scions of Seventh Dawn have but recently welcomed a new hero into their midst. I am here on behalf of the Maelstrom, Grand Company of Limsa Lamented, to offer said hero a place of honor within our ranks. As you can see, Clyde, your recent exploits have garnered you the attentions of the Grand Company of Eorzea. Each organization would have Ifrit's Bane for its own. To this end, all three have sent officers to court you. They would not ordinarily go to such lengths to enlist a new recruit. That they have is evidence of their high regard for you. I find myself wondering how word of Clyde's deeds spread so quickly, that the Immortal Flame should know of his triumph is to be expected, but what of the other Grand Companies? Beep! Your reputation precedes you, Master Wyvernhide. 'Tis no ordinary man who can face a primal and emerge the victor. And imagine our pride when we learn that you began your journey as an adventurer in our own Gridania. Know that the people would hold you in high esteem, and that you will always be welcome among us. The Order of the Twin Adder is in need of valiant men such as you. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us ensure that peace ever reigns over the Twelveswood. What a pleasure it is to finally meet you, Master Wyvernhide. My comrades speak of you in the most glowing terms. A man of your talents belongs with the Immortal Flames. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us secure a prosperous future for old Da. The Admiral was not exaggerating when she said, "You have the look of a hero." Full often does she speak of you, friend. It is only natural that we should want you for the Maelstrom. Join your strength through ours, and together let us see the grand vessel of Limsa Lominsa to the shores of glory. Well, I was in the Navy, and I do like ships. Lady Minfilia. Very well. Yep, Grand Companies, I know what they are. Don't worry about it. Serving a Grand Company means serving the nation to which it belongs. You will be charged with its defense and tasked with advancing its cause. In return for your faithful service, you will be furnished with various rewards, some of which may prove useful to you in your other endeavors. If you are agonizing over which of the Grand Companies best deserves your loyalty, be at ease. The commitment you make this day need not be permanent. Should you wish to shift your allegiance at a later date, you are entitled to do so, and yet I can see that it is no small choice to face. Ah, a thought occurs to me. You will, of course, recall that the three city-states are planning to hold remembrance services. Well, as part of the proceedings, I am given to understand that the leader of each Grand Company will deliver an address. Hearing these addresses ought to help you make an informed decision. What say you, my dear officers? A fine suggestion. You are as wise as you are beautiful, my lady. Very well. Let Clyde hear our leader speak, then return here with his decision. We eagerly await your answer. If I'm honest, I like the red of the Maelstrom the best, and then I like the black of Ul'dah next best. I'm not really crazy about the brownish yellow thing Gridania's got going on, but Gridania has some really cool looking weapons. Unfortunately, none of their spears are really all that cool looking to me, but whatever. Of course, babe. As the story progresses, I'll be more and more a Scion and less a Grand Company person, really. Sure thing, babe. Let's see something, actually. Okay, it looks like my free company is aligned with the Immortal Flames, and I'm not sure how that affects things with choosing your Grand Company. But as you can see, there's people inside of the Free Company that you don't have to choose what your Free Company is aligned to. Now, honestly, Maelstrom was my first choice when I first started playing the game, because I thought red looked coolest. I liked their standard. The city reminded me of Bastok. Merylweeb's hot. But my first alt character I made an Immortal Flame, just because Reborn is cool, and black is always kind of cool, and their weapons are pretty cool. And I made a third character once, a Twin Adder, but it just always feels so, I don't know. I wouldn't say out of place, just... It's the one I've picked the least. And like I said, I've taken, I guess, 5 characters through. Let's try to think about from a narrative perspective, though, which Grand Company would make the most sense for an Alamegan-born guy to go into. I mean, obviously, it was sort of a stretch that I went to Gridania to become an adventurer, since they turn Alamegans away. But, you know, Clyde's plucky and tenacious. That's why his last name is Wyvernhide. Of course, with what we know about Connie Senna, she actually knows stuff about, like, Ether and the Mother Crystal and stuff. And I don't think Merylweeb and Reborn can say that they do. I also think that because she's a Padjali, and I don't know if she's technically immortal or if she just has such a long lifespan that it's, you know, she's relatively immortal. Like, she's probably older than them as well. I don't know that for sure, but, yeah, whatever. We're one zone away from Limsa Lomensa, so we might as well go there first. Good old ferry ride. I kind of wish... I mean, I kind of don't, but I kind of do wish that the ferry ride in this game that you could go on, I wish it was like the ferry ride in Final Fantasy XI. Maybe not as long, maybe just like 5 minutes, where you could actually walk around on the boat and like sea monsters would jump onto it for you to fight and stuff. Because that was always really enjoyable in 11 to me. Like, yeah, the boat ride was really long, and you know, you were just trying to get to another zone, and later you had better options of just like teleporting with like white magic or teleporting with a staging point. But they had unique musical compositions for the boat rides. There were unique notorious monsters to run into. Occasionally a ship would pull up beside you, like a pirate ship, and you would get boarded by pirates. And that was just so cool, and I kind of wish that we could have that in 14. A long boat ride where we get boarded by pirates and, like, you know, have to fend them off and go across the ocean and such. I don't think we'll ever get it, mind you, but it would certainly be welcome. Though there is a thing related to fishing, high-level fishing, where you go out on a ship and you fish, and it's like special, super magical fishing.
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Oh, she's hot. Guess I'm not the only Alamegan in the audience. She's also hot.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride. "700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond."
Really uncontested? No one else has a navy? I mean, none of the other city-states do, but don't the Garleans?
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say. The crimson field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the black longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilfir's bloody executioners. And together, we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage. Yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishbuck
The Sahagin
bastards.
have risen?
While the mines of Ogomero spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go.
Sounds like the kobolds were here first, though.
These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now, the curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck?
Look at that one Midlander with the glasses that's like, you can see his face through the neck of the thing, and he's like, I guess he's got open air above this Highlander chick's head to see Merriweb at, but I feel like, given his height and these giant people standing in front of him, that he doesn't have a good view.
There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves till sea swallows all.
Long live the Admiral!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the seven hells, Admiral!
If you'll permit me, Alfie, no.
The D is silent?
And my sister, Alize, at your service.
Isn't that a type of booze?
I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler.
I guess you don't remember me from the wagon, huh?
You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
Man, Alice doesn't have time for this shit. She ain't gonna say 2 words to me. Though they're identical, so like, shouldn't they both be guys or both be girls? I mean, fraternal twins aren't supposed to be identical. Ah, well, it's a magical universe with alien species. I mean, they were Ellazans, so maybe it works different in Ellazan twins. Hell if I know. Let's go to Ul'dah next, just cause. If we're gonna warp, we might as well. Now, I did find Merylweeb's speech rather rousing, and something to note is that unlike Ul'dah, Limsa Lominsa has 2 primals to contend with. They have Leviathan and Titan. Uldah's just got Ifrit. As for Gridania, we already heard from being there that they've got Ramu and the Ixal try to summon, I guess, their god as well, Garuda. So they've got 2 going on as well. So if we wanted to be most helpful against Primal Threat, we'd go with, I think, Gridania or the Maelstrom. Of course, let's see Raban's speech, though, you know? I'm honestly, personally thinking that Gridania would make the most sense narratively, because once we met Connie Senna and she knew about the Mother Crystal, it's kind of nice having a city-state leader, you know that you really are special. Like, you're this, you know...
Behold, 'tis the Sultana Nanimo herself!
And Reborn as well!
Yay, Reborn! Ew, Sultana.
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore.
Not without fuel, it won't.
Hurrah! Reborn! Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold, where by the grace and glory of Nalthar have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Ul'dah!
There, at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard. Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests.
That paladin behind Raban's got a really serious countenance there.
If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save?
Is he trying to put the nation down through shame so it'll rise back up?
You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act. Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Ul'dah stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you.
Ew, just beseech me in your own name, dude. That is a midget who never does anything.
Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Ul'dah, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Ul'dah. As Ul'dah prospers, so shall her people. Ya for Ul'dah!
Together we are one.
Your grace.
Reborn,
Ugh.
people of Ul'dah, I, Nanimo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Ul'dah. Yet those who measure that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people.
I'm pretty sure all the poor beggars and refugees in the streets beg to differ.
Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Ul'dah, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn!
Yeah, not gonna lie, the Sultana kind of lost it for me.
Forsooth,
The time is now!
I
Fancy meeting you again.
Y'all follow me around? You twins that wear clocks on your chests? And silver high heels? So they actually put down effort. Guess that means they spend lots of soldiers. So what's to stop effort from just tempering them? Unless they have the echo. I don't think Alamegan to join the Immortal Flames. But I mean, an Alamegan like me that didn't go to Ul'dah, that went to Gridania and actually got in, or maybe even escaped from the refugee stagnation in Ul'dah. You know, I mean, it's not like it would get you any closer to the Sultana or to saving the refugees just by soldiering for the Immortal Flames. Well, we've got one speech left to see. So far, the best speech is Merowib's. Yes, I'm probably biased because Merowib is hot, but that's neither here nor there. She doesn't have a squeaky little midget that doesn't actually do anything. Well, I mean, I'm a little too hard on her. It's revealed later that the Sultana, Reborn used to be a gladiator. After he came, he's Alamegan, and he was a gladiator, and he fought in the gladiatorial arena, making a living for himself. But basically, he was so good that the people, the rich folk that liked to bet on the matches started to try to rig the matches against him in order to have him killed so that they could properly control the arena and make money off of it. It's basically he became the sort of fighter that no one would ever bet against. So they kept upping the ante until he was going to be killed in the arena, and basically the Sultana let him have his freedom and promoted him into the syndicate or whatever, and saved his life technically. So that's the Cliff Notes version, and that's the one good thing that she can claim to have done. Everything else, she's just kind of an incompetent like midget, and I don't like her at all. So of course, there's a little more to why I don't like her at all. But, well, I'll leave it for another time. Let's watch this final speech.
I lost my son to the calamity.
The three Seedseers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body. Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seedseer. The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Elysian. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves, nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat.
By that, she means basically they begged the other city-states to help them fend off Alamigo back in the Autumn War.
"5 years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Carteneau. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed, each waking hour a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk the high roads without fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
And she's snappy. Both of these twins are.
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity, we must think of the children.
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the forest.
All the elementals!
Oh, excuse me. Why is the one from the Conjurers Guild the only one wearing black? Not gonna lie, the Twin Adder Standard is my least favorite. I don't like the color yellow very much at all.
Fancy meeting you again.
I swear these twins are following me. Yeah, so was the Maelstrom. You say that, but do you know what they did during the Autumn War? So apparently according to this guy, the elementals have lost the power to protect the forest and enact the Green Wrath. Seems like they didn't really care for the Maelstrom or Ul'dah, and they want me to go with the Seed Seer. What a coincidence! Hurry on back to the Waking Sands now. No, we don't need to hurry on back. We need to go get Lance Charge and finish our guild quests. I'm really at a conundrum though as to which Grand Company to pick for this character. I know I'm not going to pick Ul'dah, I think, because I don't like the Sultana, and I mean, since he went to Gridania, since Clyde went to Gridania, he obviously wanted to get away from the beaten path that most Alamegans take, trying to find and make their coin and make their lives in Ul'dah now. But then also Gridania, you know, they haven't exactly, until I started really being able to do stuff for them, like, you know, and I started referring to me as a badass and a hero and stuff, you know, they were threatening me with death, like, every third or fourth conversation with a wood whaler. And obviously they won't just let in my Alamegan brothers or sisters just because I joined their Grand Company, so honestly, I really like the Maelstrom's deal. They had the most stirring speech. They've got to deal with 2 beast tribes, and they're pretty much neutral in regards to Alamegans, basically being too far away for refugees to really get there. Anyway, I think I'll cut the episode here, because I don't think we've quite hit the 50-minute mark yet, but it's getting there. And I prefer not to have to cut any of the Lancer Guild quests in half, or any of the main storyline quests in half, if I can help it. So, that'll be it for this part. If you watched, thank you. And if not, well, that's okay too. The video will still be here. I'll see you next time, and I hope you stay safe and have a good day.